Buckeye Boggs. That man over there is the wild man, Chris Wilds, and you are you, and we're so thankful to have you with us tonight on the OHIO podcast, a victorious OHIO podcast after a big win yesterday inside the Horseshoe over the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Guys, we want to get through a few things here at the beginning. First off, we want to let you know that we are the official podcast of Fansided, the official Ohio State podcast, that is, of Scarlet and Game from Fansided. You just go into scarletandgame.com, type it in your computer. There's all kinds of Ohio State articles, some written by yours truly. You can find our podcast right there. We are also the official Ohio State football podcast for Big Banter Sports, and we are pleased to have someone very special joining us from Big Banter here in just a few minutes. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Ohio Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at The Ohio Pod. The X now, I think, is what that's called, Chris. The X. And even more exciting than all of those great things is you can join us live this upcoming Saturday night for the Ohio State versus Notre Dame watch party in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We will be there at Mike's Sports Bar. We're going to be joined by the alumni, the Ohio State Alumni Club of Pittsburgh. Our good friend Mike Wargo is going to be there, Chris. 50-50 raffle, fun games, big prizes, great food. It is awesome. And then we also want to let you know, tomorrow night, we will be going live again, same time, same channel, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on YouTube and Facebook. We will be joined by Mr. John Kennedy from the Always Irish Show. Once again, he's going to be with us, Chris. It'll go from 0 to 100 in the drop of a hat. I promise you, you are not going to want to miss that tomorrow night. And then we're going to be joining him live on his show the following night. So we need to make sure to get as many Buckeye fans with us tomorrow night, because Tuesday night, Chris, we're going to be up against it, I'm afraid. So we need to be ready for that. But we want to welcome in tonight the Big Banter CEO himself, Brant Henson. Brant, welcome to the OHIO podcast.
How's it going, Eric? How's it going, Chris? Thank you for having me on. Super excited to be here. OH.
I-O, buddy. That's right. Hey, man, I tell you, that was quite the game last night, and we're just going to start right here. Of course, we want to make sure that you all know to put your comments in the comment section tonight. Big game, a big show for you. Lots of we want all of you to contribute tonight. Lots of comments again. Second half of the show, all you guys, we're going to be answering, talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. You can ask Brant questions about Big Banter. You can ask us questions about Ohio State. Shoot, you can even ask us, ask Chris how things went today over there at the flea market. So whatever you guys want to talk about in the second part of the show, we're going to talk about it, all right? So let's start right here. Chris, we'll start with you. Your initial reaction from Ohio State's big win over the Hilltoppers.
Well, Eric, I think for the first time this season, we saw Kyle McCord look comfortable. I think that was a huge, huge thing. He's not got that monkey on his back. He's not looking over his shoulder. And he came out and had a really nice game. We still had a few issues with the offensive line, but it was better. I thought we played really sound football on both sides of the ball. The defensive ends, other than Mitchell Melton, still weren't getting home. But you know what? They were very disruptive. So I'll tell you, really, really, I think we may have turned the corner a little bit on that. Makes me a whole lot more optimistic going into this next week versus the Irish.
Yeah, definitely. Brant, I mean, even though you're the CEO of all 14 podcasts in the Big Ten there at Big Banter, you're a Buckeye. I know you're a Buckeye. What was your thoughts of the game yesterday?
Yeah, so just to start up, I'll try to keep my Buckeye bias out of this, but I mean, here on the OHIO podcast, I mean, when I'm speaking to Big Banter as a whole, I've got to say a little neutral, but here on OHIO podcast, it's all Buckeyes, all full go for me.
Yeah, let it fly, buddy. Let it fly.
I was like, going off of what Chris said, I was super impressed we saw the Buckeyes play at a level we hadn't seen all year, and that's really the confidence that I think our guys needed, our fans needed, everyone needed going into the game this week. One thing that I was really, really happy to see was Ryan Day coaching aggressively. Going for it on that fourth down on the first drive was just like I was smiling. I almost shed a tear just seeing him playing out there, going hard, converting that fourth down. And I think the guys had some fire under them too. I know Tyleik Williams is a guy that comes to mind who was just playing with absolute fire. He was being aggressive out there. And we saw it in a lot of guys, and we're gonna need that if we're gonna contend this year. So I was happy with yesterday's performance.
And how about that second quarter, guys?
Yeah, I think
ever seen anything like that? I mean, that was just wow.
Yeah, I think Brian said it best. He said, "Great game was there. Got a great view of the 5 TDs in the second quarter." Yeah, man, like that was a complete game from the Buckeyes yesterday, and that's what we've been waiting to see. Is the offense and defense put it together. I liked what Coach Day said at the Skull session when he said, we're taking it to another level today. We're taking that next step. And we saw that. That was not a bad opponent, guys. That's a really, really good football team. They're going to go to a bowl game.
And they're the top passer in the nation last year, Eric.
Yeah, there's some people saying that Reed, I think it was he's
a legitimate NFL prospect.
Yeah, they said he's got a chance to be one of the first quarterbacks taken after the first echelon guys go. He's going to be a good backup in the NFL somewhere. That's kind of his expectation. And really, after that first quarter and a half, defense gave up nothing. They were flying around. They were creating turnovers. They were creating havoc. Now, I still got a little bit of a beef with our defensive ends, but, even the defensive line seemed to start getting a little bit more pressure, especially in that second half when their offensive line got worn out. We ran the football good. We passed the football good. Like you said, Chris, Kyle McCord looked comfortable in the pocket yesterday. A lot of positivity coming out of that game, and we need that going into this week. If we would have looked like we did in, say, week 2, going into this game with Notre Dame, I would be a little bit scared about what we're facing. But now I feel like going in this big away game in South Bend, Indiana, we have a legitimate shot to go win this football game. I'm not saying that we're going to blow them out. I'm not naive. I don't think that. But before Saturday, I thought we were going to lose. Yeah. And now I don't. Now I think we got a legitimate shot to win. So that being said, let's go ahead and hand out letter grades for the offense and defense first. Chris, which one do you want to go with first?
Well, let's start with the offense, Eric.
All right, we'll go with the offense first. And as I pull that up, Chris, thinking of the offense and talking a little bit about the offense yesterday, they really looked in sync outside of the sack fumble that McCord had for the most part.
Which, that wasn't 100% his fault. That was, again, one of those famous lookout blocks.
Yeah, but he also needs to learn how to eat it. He's got to learn how to eat it. But
he held a little too long.
Yeah, that being said, here were the offensive stats yesterday real quick here, Chris. 358 passing yards, 204 rushing yards, total 562 yards of offense from scrimmage, 9.4 yards per play, 24 first downs. Third down, they got it up a little bit, but still not where they would like it, 5 of 10. When you count fourth down in that, it looks a little better, 2 of 2 on fourth down, 27 minutes and 26 seconds in time of possession. 2 turnovers yesterday from the offense. What was your letter grade, Chris?
I went with an A-. I thought they were very efficient. I thought they performed well. Obviously, you mentioned it, the 2 turnovers. And then that third down efficiency is what kept me from going to an A or an A+ with this performance. Massively improved. But you know what? Like I said, they got to clean up the turnovers. What I will say is I do love that we're playing fairly mistake-free football as far as penalties go, too. I mean, we only have, 5 for 40 total as a team yesterday, so that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, A-.
I actually went with an A. I thought the offense was really good. I couldn't give it an A plus because of the turnovers, but I will give the the grade of an A for the offense. Brant, what was your letter grade for the Big O?
So I'm actually going to be more on the pessimistic side. I know
Okay.
they looked great. Like Kyle McCord had easily his best game. Looked very comfortable out there. I'm going to give him a B though, just because the Hilltoppers defense is like one of the bottom 5 Power 5 defenses. I know offensively they're a great team, but specifically their run defense is just nothing special, nothing to write home about. So our running backs did look great. They were hitting the holes quickly. Travion had a great game. But I don't know. I feel like we should take it with a grain of salt. And I think an A for me would be just a perfect game, completely mistake free. So that's why I'm going B. McCord missed Julian Fleming on an open throw, and then the strip sack. Like he's just got to be more aware, either take it or get it out of there. But aside from those, like he really played a great game, and everyone else played a great game too. The one thing I also have a little bit of concern about is how are the tackles going to be looking when we're facing a real pass rush and like a real front seven. But overall, not really much you could complain about with that performance. I think they played great.
We're going to learn a lot about those things this week. This is going to be a legit game. Flipping over to the other side of the ball on the defense. So they gave up 204 passing yards to one of the more prolific passing attacks in all of college football, no matter what level you look at. Only 80 yards rushing, which is what we expect from this defense. They're very good at stopping the run. I do believe that will be challenged this week against Notre Dame. They have a great running attack. 284 total yards on the defensive side, yards allowed. 3.9 yards per play. 15 first downs is what the defense gave up. Third down efficiency, 3 of 16. Fourth down efficiency, 3 of 6. They won the third downs this week, so that was good for them. Time on the field, 32 minutes and 34 seconds, and they did cause, like I said, 4 turnovers. I can't remember the last time this defense caused 4 turnovers. I really can't.
Outside of Penn State, that may have been more than they did all last season.
It was Penn State, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
That wasn't the whole defense. That was JTT.
Right. So I went with a letter grade of A. I went with an A. Brant, what did you give the defense?
I mean, I'm somewhere between A and A+. That was one of the best defensive performances I've seen out of Ohio State in quite some time. Very, very impressed at all 3 levels. The D-line, specifically the interior D-line, really impressed me. Mike Hall and Tyleek were stuffing the run. Tommy Eichenberg was on every play. It seemed like he was making an impact, making a tackle. And Denzel Burke played a crazy good game. He might be one of the best. He's one of the best corners in the nation, hands down. I think he's a first-round NFL talent, obviously. And he was guarding a guy, Malachi Corley, who is definitely no slouch. He's rumored to be a first-round NFL talent, and he definitely looked pretty solid out there. But Denzel kept him in check. So, I mean, this Buckeye defense, sky is really the limit with them. Like you said, we're going to learn a lot about them this week with Notre Dame. But I thought it was legit. I thought it was a crazy good performance.
Chris, what's your letter grade for the defense?
Let me tell you, the stats were beautiful, but until Tuimaluau or Sawyer gets home, I can't give him an A. I'm going to give him an A-.
Okay. You keep me grounded. You know that, Chris? You always keep me grounded, man, even during the games. I will say this, dude. JT's shoulder tackle.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Wrap up, man. I was so mad. I yelled at the TV at that moment. Oh,
Aaron would have been throwing something at the TV if he'd seen that.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, guys, check this out, man. Our good friend Steve from the Topper Talks with us tonight. We're actually going to see if he wants to come on here in a few minutes after we hand out our Buckeye leaves. I'll send him a link, see if he wants to join us here real fast and give us his experience. I mean, I want to know because he's been to Alabama. I want to know the difference between Bama and Ohio State, what the atmosphere is like. I want to hear from him. So we'll send you that link in just a minute, my friend. Also want to read this real fast. This is from James. He said, "Hey guys, good to see you again. I came down from the state up north to see the game, and wow, was I impressed with our defense, only holding them to 10 points and completely dominating the game." Yeah, James, this is not new. It seems like teams score on us quick. We make a quick adjustment, and then it's nothing rest of the game. So you know what? That's coaching experience and toughness is what that is, and intelligence to see what they're doing, make the adjustment, and then not let them do it anymore. They had the good receiver that they kept feeding, and we finally said, if you're going to beat us, it ain't going to be with him, and they couldn't beat us. And so, yeah, there was a quick adjustment there. All right, let's hand out some Buckeye Leafs now, guys. Let's start with the offensive player of the game, Chris.
Yeah, I had to go with Kyle McCord. He finally looked good out there, finally looked comfortable. 19 of 23, 318, 3 touchdowns. Give the young man his leaf, Eric.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Kyle McCord, he put that Buckeye leaf on the side of the helmet, buddy. That was your best game. And if we can get that moving forward, expectations back through the roof, guys.
Especially given what we saw against Bowling Green yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Victor's Nation. Want to try to explain that one to us, buddy? Brant, who's your offensive player of the game?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go with Emeka Egbuka. I thought he had an insane performance. That big catch on the 4th down conversion, 2 touchdowns, just looked like the real deal out there alongside Marv, which, I mean, we all knew he was, but just to see him out there dominating gave me a lot of confidence in how high this offense's potential is.
Yeah, Jay Thompson says McCord continued to improve. He made mostly good decisions, but had a few passes he could have had better placement with the ball. Overall, I'm happy with his progress. Yeah, I agree, Jay, but let's also keep in mind this was only his 4th start. If I'm not mistaken, the 4th start was when C.J. Stroud started.
Was down and he did Akron.
He started to make the change, and it was like, okay, we got something here. Because those first 2 starts against Minnesota and against Oregon, and even the first game back after McCord came in and filled in for him against Akron, and then after that, it was like, oh, we got something here. So this is kind of on the same trajectory that we've experienced in the past before. Let's go over to the defensive side, Chris. Your defensive MVP. Who gets the Buckeye leaf on the defense?
Oh, this was tough.
It was tough.
I went with Tyleik Williams. Those 7 tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss. And, guys, he was just a disruptive force out there the entire game. He was playing mean and nasty football, and he was living in the backfield.
Brant, your defensive player of the game.
Yeah, so I went with Tommy Eichenberg. It just seemed like it was also another tough one. Tyleik had a crazy good game. Denzel Burke, like I mentioned earlier. A lot of guys played great, but it just seemed like Tommy was all over the place, playing like an absolute menace. I mean, he plays like he looks with a bald head. You know he's going to be out there just running around like a maniac, making tackles everywhere, always in the backfield. So I think he's going to have a huge year, and he looked great.
Yeah, and I could have went with this one too, Burke, but I didn't. And by the way, Tyleik Williams had the best dance with the belly rub.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Ain't nothing better than a big man dancing, right? Come on. No, I actually went with Steel Chambers. 8 tackles, had the INT, had a big TFL on that swing pass where they were, I think it was on a 3rd and short, and it really changed the momentum of the game. Yeah, Lenny agrees with me. He's going with Steel Chambers. Brian Ober said Chambers was over too. Yeah, you couldn't go wrong with any of those picks. Denzel would have been another great pick. He has risen the level of his play to a play that we haven't seen since, I don't know, Okuda?
Maybe, yeah. What about Proctor? Proctor had a great game out there.
Oh, he almost had a pick 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a different defense with Proctor back there, and it seems like the light bulbs finally turned on for him, and that's good. Yeah, Jay Thompson says Tyleik took the ball out of the pile like he was grabbing a Big Mac. Did you see Coach Day's reaction when he saw that Tyleik came up with it and he was staring up at the at the big screen, the big grin on his face when he pointed at it. He couldn't have been happy. He was like a dad who's watching his son score a touchdown for the first time, you know? That was awesome. All right, let's go to our offensive play of the game, Chris.
Eric, 70-yard plus touchdowns are just becoming a habit out of McCord and Harrison. I got to go with the 75-yarder.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That was my offensive play of the game as well. Brant?
Yeah, I know I keep harping on it, but the 4th down conversion to Buckeye on the first drive just really set the tone for the game. And that's going to have to be my pick just because it seemed like it got the guys going.
All right, let me write that down so I don't forget it. 4th down conversion to EE. All right. Flipping over to the other side of the ball, the defensive player hit the game. I'm going to go first here. I'm going to go with the Denzel Burke forced fumble, Tyleek Williams recovery for the TD, and belly rub dance. To me, that was my defensive play of the game. Brant, what'd you have?
Yeah, that's a great pick. Mine was actually the Jermaine Matthews pick 6. It was great to see a true freshman out there getting his first interception and taking it back for a touchdown. Just fun to see a little glimpse of the future of Ohio State football.
And isn't it good to see cornerbacks getting their head turned around,
yes,
looking for the football, finding the football, and making a play on it? Like, that's 2 weeks in a row now.
That's something we've lacked here in Columbus the past few years, and it's exciting to see the guys out there just going for the ball again.
Chris, your defensive play of the game.
John Madden said it best, man. There's nothing better than a fat guy touchdown. I got to go with Tyleek Williams, man. I was torn between that and actually the Matthews interception, but I got to go with Tyleek Williams.
Yeah, those were all great, man. Those are good moments. Doesn't it feel good to sit here on a Sunday night and feel so good about the game we witnessed? And it's just a different vibe, if you will, you know, going into a big game with the confidence that we have. Let's go through a few more of these comments here. Burke and Williams for the defensive touchdown for sure. Spot on. Brian Oberst agrees with you. First touchdown to Emeka Egbuka was beautiful. It was a good pass. You know, there's something he's doing that he wasn't doing the first 2 games. He's looking off defenders.
Yes. Can I tell you something else pretty amazing that I thought about, Eric?
Sure.
When's the last time that you actually remember us out rushing attempt, having more rushing attempts than passing attempts? I really loved the balance in this game. We had 33 rush attempts to 27 pass attempts.
I can tell you when it was, actually. It was back when JT Barrett was quarterback.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been.
And I love the mix. I love the fact that it seems like he's starting to use the run a little to open the pass up, you know, because a great rushing game is definitely going to help cure some of those woes with the offensive line, give McCord a little bit of breathing room.
We're a little bit ahead of schedule. No problem. I want to do this real fast before we jump in to our first commercial break and get people to start asking questions and maybe get Steven to come on here. I need to send him the invite. So I want to know in the chat, and Chris will start with you, and after Chris, Brant, you can jump in, your favorite moment from the game yesterday. Tell me when that was. In the chat, I want to know what your favorite moment was. Give me 1 minute to send this invite. Chris, take it away.
You know, for me, I think my favorite moment was probably actually the Jermaine Matthews interception, just because it was something. You know, we've discovered what we had in Denzel Burke. We knew it his freshman year. We've seen that coming back this year. It feels good to know that there's somebody who might have those type of skills coming up behind him. You know, to see that out of a true freshman is, I think, a great thing.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with that. That's exactly what I was thinking was my favorite moment. And then I know we've already touched on this too, but just Tyleek Williams' touchdown dance and the energy that all the guys on the sideline had with that. Definitely just good to see them happy and relaxed rather than just, you know, more tense. And I feel like if they're kind of meshing with that energy, they can really just come out fiery against Notre Dame.
Yeah, absolutely agree with all of that. Jay says bring the safeties up in the box to help McCord shoot first in a barrel. Trying to figure out what he means by that. Bring the safeties up in the box. Oh, if the safeties come up
in the box.
the running game, bringing
Yep.
the safeties into the box, and now McCord can pick them off. Yeah. That touchdown to Marvin Harrison was actually a double team that he split and literally just ran. They were talking about it on the telecast.
22.3 miles an hour, Eric.
Okay, so my wife and I were having a debate about this. Now, and do you know how fast Usain Bolt ran, his fastest ever recorded time in miles per hour? You want to take a stab at it? 28 miles per hour. Now, Marvin Harrison was at 22 with pads and a helmet on and was only 6 miles per hour slower than Usain Bolt in his Olympic record-breaking 100-yard dash. Wow. Is there anything this guy can't do? I mean, he is just...
The funny thing, Eric, I'd heard people criticize that the ball was a little bit underthrown to him. Well, you know what? He outran the daggone ball. He outran McCord's arm. He had to slow down and turn back for it just a bit, But, I thought it was great. I really did.
Justin brings up a good one, too. He liked seeing Brown throw that touchdown. It was great to see Ryan Day actually run the offense with a backup.
Yes. And you know what? He was very efficient and comfortable in that role. 3 of 4 and a touchdown. You can't complain about his performance either.
Pressure's off.
Yeah. For both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Quint, I would say it's a moment, but it wasn't a moment, but a feeling of the team starting to gel or gelling together. This feels like a team that can win it all again. Yeah, it really did. Frank's favorite moment was Harrison's touchdown. I believe he might look back on that moment as the play that McCord arrived. Ooh, yes. Yeah. And Frank actually just wrote an article over at scarletandgame.com. Go check it out about how that we might have just seen McCord take the next step to being the next elite quarterback at Ohio State. So that's a really good read. Go check that one out. Larry says seeing Devin Brown get some successful reps was a solid ending. You know why this is also important is what if McCord gets injured?
Yeah.
You're going to need that backup quarterback who can still win you football games and it not look clunky or out of place or any of that. Lenny brings up a very good point. I want to talk about this here. He said, just for your information, Western Kentucky beat USF 41-24. Bama beat USF 17-3.
Oh, Alabama's offense is awful, Eric.
They're awful. Broken. They don't know who to play at quarterback.
Do you remember somebody at the beginning of the year predicting this was going to be a three-loss Bama team this year?
Yeah, someone's usually pretty good at that stuff, Yeah, absolutely.